Welcome back to another video. Today's video is another installment of Spoonie Environmentalism. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make a DIY body scrub. Don't have to be buying it in a plastic container out in the supermarket, and it's a lot cheaper for you. It's super easy, and there's tons of recipes that you can use. So it's a really fun thing that you can just make really quickly. But before we get into it, I just want to say a quick thank you to the Patreon members who voted for this video. And if you become a member on Patreon as well, you can vote for the video that I will be filming next week. So I will leave the link to that below if you want to join. Without further ado, let's get into this video. I have a little tray here with things that you might need. First and foremost, you will need a jar. I like using this kind of small one where you can fit your whole hand in there, because when you get to the end of your body scrub, you want to be able to get everything out. And this is just a jar that I got in the supermarket with jam in it, and when I'm finished with the jam, I put it in the dishwasher so you can wash it and reuse it infinitely. It's very important that you clean it really well and that you dry it really well before you start mixing your body scrub. You don't want to be mixing water in there. Next, you will need also a chopstick or something to mix with. I like using a chopstick just because it's nice and big, and doesn't have a very big area, you know? It's nice to get right in there. So I like using a chopstick. You'll also need measuring cups and measuring spoons. And then the actual ingredients to make the scrub are something to scrub with. So I have white sugar here, and also I have brown sugar. So you can use white or brown, you can use baking soda, you can use salt, you can use Himalayan salt or Epsom salt, you can use a ton of different things. But if you're going to go with something more scrubby like salt, I would adjust the kind of oil that I use. So I find that if you're using something that isn't very scrubby, there's a word for it, but I can't remember it right now. So something that's more mild, like sugar, you can use oils that aren't as hydrating. And with something like a sea salt scrub, you want to use a very hydrating oil because it's more abrasive. That's the word I was looking for, abrasive. You need something to scrub. You need an oil, like I mentioned. I'm going to be using coconut oil, a handy dandy jar that I'm going to save for something else in the future. You can use olive oil, you can use sweet almond oil, you can use avocado oil, whatever you want. So that's the base of your scrub, the sugar and the coconut oil, right? And then you can either use essential oils to give it a scent and to add some more properties to it if you are into essential oils and aromatherapy and that kind of thing, and you think that using a lavender oil is going to help with whatever. I don't know about oils, that's not my area of expertise. Either scent that you like or certain property that you want. I'm not going to be using essential oils today, but just so you know that you can. For scrubbiness, you can also use coffee. You can also add cocoa powder. Something else that I just remembered with the jar is that you can use jars like this with this kind of lid, which are cool because they keep your scrub safe longer. So there's jars like this that are smaller, and they're nice because they keep it really airtight, which is great. But these jars are normally heavier than something like this. So think about that. Think about, you're going to be using this in the shower. Is it easy to open and close? Is it going to keep water out? Can you fit your hand in there? Think about all of those things when you're choosing your jar. Like I was saying, you can use cocoa, you can use coffee. I'm going to be using coffee in mine today. So I've got some coffee here. Normally you use coffee grounds, so you can actually just make coffee and then use the grounds for that. But we don't make coffee like that. So I'm just gonna be using straight up coffee, which should work fine, and it'll still have a nice scent to it. So then you can use things like oats, milk, honey, whatever you want. You can also go on the internet and search for different recipes for yourself. But today I am going to be trying a new recipe that I've never tried before, but I'm really excited about because I think it's gonna smell super nice. For whatever you wanna do, the base is always 1 cup of sugar or salt or brown sugar, whatever, 1 cup of that to half a cup of oil. So that's always going to be your base, and then you can mix whatever you want on top of that. First, we're gonna add our sugar. 1 cup of brown sugar for this recipe that I'm making, which I haven't told you what it is. It's like a vanilla latte kind of recipe. So now we would add our oil, but because I'm going to be adding coffee, I'm going to do that first before I get my little thingy wet. I'm going to do half a cup of coffee. Okay, so now we have 1 cup of sugar and half a cup of coffee. Coffee is also pretty good if you use it regularly and if you believe that kind of thing. It's also supposed to be really good for like cellulite, and it's good to like rejuvenate your skin. Next, we're gonna go in with our coconut oil, and we're gonna do half a cup of that. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract just to give it a nice little scent. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of cinnamon, again for scent. And also cinnamon is also pretty good for your skin. It's good for like blemishes and stuff. Okay, so this is what it looks like, not appetizing at all. So now we're going to just mix it in with our chopstick. So just go to town with that. Make sure to mix all the layers together really well. Then at this point, you try the smell, and then if you don't like it or if you need more of something, you can add it in still and mix it really well. Mine smells like a coconut latte, kind of. I feel like I would like to put more cinnamon in there because it doesn't smell a lot like cinnamon. And I'm also going to put more vanilla. You can also get vanilla and cinnamon essential oils, and that would probably like have a bigger smell payout. What I'm trying to show you is about using stuff that you already have at home, that you don't have to go and purchase things to make this. So if you don't have coconut oil, just use olive oil or something else that you do have at home. It smells really good. It smells really, really good now. So now that it's all nice and mixed, I'm gonna show you kind of like what the consistency is. This is kind of what it looks like in the jar. You can then add more oil or more whatever if you like. So you can also add more sugar towards the end if you feel like there's oil separating and stuff like that. And it's also nice to keep a chopstick in your bathroom like handy so that you can mix it in as you're using it. It will last a couple of months, but it won't last like a year. It doesn't have a very, very long shelf life. You can obviously go in with soap afterwards if you wanna take that kind of oily residue out. The cool thing about this DIY is, first of all, you can do it really, really quickly like you saw. It's just about mixing the quantities and that's it. You can always look for new recipes. You can make it to gift to family members and things like that. And that is like a really fun, different gift and like original gift. It's very cheap, so it's a super cool DIY. It's a nice little self-care item that doesn't cost you a ton of money, isn't really doing a lot of damage to the environment because you already will have all of these things at home. Even though this does go down the drain, it is all biodegradable because everything you're using is natural. So that means that even if some of it does end up in the ocean, it's all going to decompose pretty quickly, whereas a lot of exfoliants that are out in the market and like body scrubs and stuff have small plastic particles and they have a lot more harsh chemicals. The other cool thing about a body scrub is that a lot of us do have sensitive skin, or we have dry skin. I think it's called allodynia, where we have like very sensitive skin, like in the sense that it's sensitive to the touch and it feels weird in certain clothes and certain things. And for me personally, wearing body lotion and body creams is like sets off my allodynia. Like it feels uncomfortable to me. And I tend not to moisturize very often because I don't like the way it feels on my skin. But I just feel like my skin's gotten really dry. And when I use a body scrub, it takes away all of the dead skin a lot easier, and all of this coconut oil is going right into your pores and it's getting hydrated by your skin. You can actually feel the difference straight away when you leave the shower just using it once. And I like this kind of scrubbiness. It feels nice, and this one is very mild because everything is very fine. So it's not super abrasive, it doesn't hurt my skin, and it really hydrates it and saves me having to use moisturizer. So that's one of the reasons that I really, really recommend this. The only downside to this is that if it does get water in there, it goes kind of weird. So be careful how much water you allow into the jar. Depending on what oil you're using, it can make your bathtub a little bit slippery. So make sure you're very careful with that. It really depends what oil you're using and how much like the proportions and stuff. So just be mindful of that. It's just a little warning. Doesn't mean that it's gonna happen. I hope I didn't like stretch this out too much. I just wanted to give you like some pointers and like advice and stuff that because I have been using homemade scrubs like this for a very long time. Not so much recently, but I have used them for like 8 years, I want to say. So it's something that I've used very much and I definitely recommend. That is it for today's DIY. If you have any more DIYs that you'd like me to try or to explore in this series where we are exploring Spoonie Environmentalism, how we can be more environmentally friendly without costing us a lot of money and putting our health in danger, then you can leave those in the comments below. I would be super happy with more suggestions and more things to try. So that is everything for this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like, a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel if you would not mind. It would mean so much to me. You can also consider becoming a member on Patreon because it would help me keep making videos, and you can shop my Etsy store as well. That is everything that I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!